from respectable families who brought us up to have honourable standards. And we both in adult life tried to meet those honourable standards, and we found ourselves in conflict with corrupt authority. Now, it's been a pleasure for me to actually witness what everyone else has had to say about this. But he left us with a valuable legacy. The Protection Fraud Network used Cabinet Office and the judiciary to provide protection frauds for crime businesses managed by state officers and law court judges. They were the top drug dealers in the country. They then had business expansion plans. They needed, they wanted to manage industrial scale court frauds. They had to do research frauds to find out what was needed for industrial scale court frauds. And they then had two major business expansion plans for land frauds. Stage one was land frauds for big business against small independents. The second was land theft for network agents against the state. Where Lee comes into this is the stage 2 plan needed cases that got the land registry to manage land registry title frauds. And one of the first cases they used was they pretended that there was a long lease granted at a tenancy discount, and that was of Lee's flat. So it was granted, there was never any lease. So the land registry created a leasehold registered title for a non-existent lease. When they'd done that, they had an unsaleable title. Any honest lawyer would say, where is the lease? And when they couldn't produce the lease, would advise the client, you will never be able to sell this title again. So they managed to get the registration fraud, and the council lease that they should have granted would have required repayment of the discount on a sale within 3 years. They couldn't wait 3 years, they sold it straight away. Lee bought it. He could only buy it if there were buyer service frauds by his own lawyers against him. He moved into the property, and because of his attention to detail, he then repeatedly noticed maintenance frauds and complained about them. So for 39 years, he was in conflict with Hackney Council because Hackney Council officers had serviced the research needed to manage wholesale land frauds. The Protection Fraud Network couldn't needed cabinet control to manage the business expansion plan. They didn't get that until Prime Minister Mr. Blair was forced out of office in 2006. And the leadership contest got a leadership deal with support votes for Mr. Brown on condition he gave cabinet office to network agents. The top network agent was Peter Mandelson. So effectively, Lee provided us with 39 years worth of evidence simply by staying in that flat and never giving up with the maintenance accounts fraud complaints. So the council had to do something about it. So they repeatedly harassed him and got cost order frauds and charged them on the lease, on the registered title, but they couldn't ever go for possession, because if they got possession, they then have to try and sell an unsaleable title. Right. Now, Lee, you can imagine, in 2004, I got criminal conspiracy proof against the European leaders, including Prime Minister Mr. Blair, and gave it to Queen Elizabeth. So we started the process to break the network. And so eventually I got various parts of the jigsaw puzzle, and in 2016 met Lee and knew he'd got a case, couldn't get all the details out of him. It took me ages to get enough of the details out of him. I had to warn the Crown, look, there's a lot of evidence here. So I helped Lee write some documents that got court fraud proof, so that there was definitely top-level court fraud proof. And then try and go back and get as much of the evidence, because Lee